The reason why we are here is that this is where the Iranian people are sort of, I don't know, for the lack of any better word, concentrated. They come here for shopping, and as you can see, all these shops are Iranian shops. So that's why we have come here. We have come here to agitate the people, the Iranian people, to join us. To agitate means to create protest. This is the meaning of agitation. And we have come here to agitate the Iranian public to join us. Now, what is it that we're protesting? I have to tell you what is happening in Iran first. What is happening in Iran is not thunder in clear sky. I have to go back to a turning point about a year and a half, year and 2 months back, and you might have seen 90-odd Iranian cities and towns. They just rose up and started, all sorts of, even they took arms. They took up arms in some places, and they got killed. And they set fire to many of these religious, symbolic places. For your information, for those people who think that we are all 17 million practicing Muslims. It's not like that. We are setting fire to religion in Iran. This is what is happening. A year and 2 months ago, people, the masses of people, the masses of angry, hungry people, frustrated people, oppressed people, those who had protested before and had been suppressed, they all came out, and in a radical way, 90-odd cities altogether. So that was an earthquake in Iran. Now that one was not a thunder in clear sky either. I have to go back another year, tell you about all these massive strikes that were going on. It so happened that, the peak was last year that I'm talking about, and people coming out in a radical way. That's the peak of 1 year of other forms of protest and demonstrations and so on. Getting killed, getting tortured, imprisoned, and yet people come out. So, now this year, all through this year, there is no walk of life, there's no people from any walk of life who have not come out protesting against this regime. Another turning point I have to tell you about, there was a strike in a place, in a huge industrial place in Iran called Haftape Agro-Industrial Complex. It is a very modern, mixture of agro-industrial, you know what it means, and it's sugarcane. They had a huge, there's 5,000 of them working there. They had a strike. What happened was that their leader, Ismail Bkhshi, came out in a brave way, the exact same way that masses had come out the year before. And he talked about the right of free organization, not those organizations that are cronies of the government, independent worker organizations, freedom of speech. And he even started saying that, he talked about factory occupation. He said, all we need is a council from us to kick these guys out, take over and run it and live by the product of it. Then he generalized it to the country and said, people want the country to be run in a council way. People, and then the way he talked about it was so down to earth. He said, if a country is run on council, on local councils basis, people will have time, people will have opportunity, maybe Iran for the first time, to talk to each other. When people talk to each other, when they're free to talk to each other, they can run their country. And so he was arrested. What else is new? He was tortured. And when he came out, he was so badly tortured that he came out in a public way, declared that I have been tortured in prison and I want the Minister of Intelligence to come to national TV and have a live debate for me. He is answerable to this and he is the only one answerable. And I want him to come. And then the regime was, you know, in turmoil. They didn't know what to do. They lost their tactics. You know, these oppressors, these murderers didn't know what to do. Somebody has come out bravely, openly, saying that I have been tortured. Why? So they said, okay, we'll consider it. We'll see that, investigate this, that. Council of Investigators, committee of this, committee of that. That's why, because they were confused. After a week or so, they started saying, he's lying. He hasn't been tortured. He must be punished. He must be tried. And then they showed one of those, our friends talked about it, one of those sham, sessions of confession. They confessed that they have been in contact with foreign powers. They confessed that, you know, they have seen this person and that person in Iran. They have trouble. And who are these people? They are other labor activists. So they were confessing that they had traveled around their own country and have seen their fellow worker leaders. This is what they were confessing to. And then it wasn't enough for the regime. The regime came out with saying that these guys, this guy and the girl, Sepide who came out, he's a reporter, she's a reporter, freelance reporter, and she came out in his support, and then they arrested both of them. But what I was saying, the regime said that they are members of a worker communist party. Because that was not, those confessions were not enough. They had to tell them that these are communists. We want to kill them. We want to torture them. They must be tortured. And the country came out and said, torture and documentary is not working anymore. This was the slogan. Şkence, Mustanud, documentary, useless. You can't rule by them anymore. We're not accepting it. And for example, the retired people whose money has been lost for years and they're out in the street every day. They want their money, they want their own back wages, they have all sorts of money that, you know, the government and the governmental institutions owe them. They came out after this sham confession. They made this slogan, not workers. Old retired pensioners came out and said torture, documentary, not effective anymore. Why they did that? Why they didn't need to come out in support of a labor leader. Why they did that? Because that's the big thing that's happening in Iran. Labor has become a mass leader now. For the first time in 2,500 years of Iranian history, a worker, somebody from down below, has come up bravely and expressed the people's rights, expressed the people's demands, and became a mass leader. Then, and Sepide joined, and she is now a leader. Nejati is a leader. Nejati is a retired activist of, you know, Haftapeh syndicate. He is a legend too. So people are saying that, you know, these three people have demanded our rights. And now for the first time their masses are supporting them. And so the whole country is being politically, as far as opposition is concerned, the opposition in Iran is led by communist workers. This is the biggest thing that's happening. The other day, another labor leader, Mahmoud Salehi, had an interview, in a radio interview. He said, I am a communist. Communists are the only ones who speak for the masses of people and for the working class. And I want to know why the Communist Party is illegal in this country. So he didn't say, no, I'm not a communist. He said, yes, I'm a communist and I must be free. And that's another demand of 70 million people. So people have to follow them, because they are saying what people want to say. Nobody else. Not right, not halfway, not in the middle of the road. No. The left is leading the opposition now. That's the biggest thing that's happening, not only in Iran, in the world. If we succeed to bring them down, especially under a communist banner, and we establish a socialist country, we bring civilization instead of the barbarism that these mullahs have started in the world, the Islamism, the political Islam started by them. If we bring them down, this whole terrorism thing will come down. They are the masters of it. They are mentors of terrorism. We have to bring them down. And this is not a national affair. Political Islam is the fascism of our times. And it needs, just like the way we defeated fascism in the 40s, we need an international, a civilized human being, civilized secular people's movement to defeat them. And then you will see that the whole world will experience a renaissance starting from Iran. This is not what I'm saying. Fukuyama, a philosopher on the right, he said that. I saw it on television with my own eyes. He said Iran is on the brink of an explosion, and that explosion brings a renaissance with it for the whole world. So that's why I'm speaking English. That's why I want everyone to join us. That's why I am demanding an international movement of civilized secular people in defense of civility and freedom in Iran and humanity in Iran through bringing down these barbaric rulers. Thank you very much.
دوستان خسته نباشید، لطفاً جمع کنید.